I am out of breath from that. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren and today I am beyond excited for our video. Cheers. That's good. If you don't know, I love fall. It is currently like 90 degrees outside and I am wearing this so that we feel the fall vibes for today's video. Don't mind the fact that there are no sheets on the bed. It's Saturday, so we're doing all of our apartment chores, which includes washing the sheets, which is my least favorite thing in the world to do, and that's all I gotta say about it. So for today's video, if you can't tell by the title, I am doing my fall TBR, and these are all the books I plan on reading in the months of September, October, and November. I consider September 1st is the first day of fall, and I will be decorating. But in the meantime, we can just get excited about the books that are gonna be on my radar this fall, and there's a lot of them, and a lot of series, so that's a lie. Not that many series, but there are some series. So we're gonna get started. I said this in my last video, but to me, fall is fantasy and thrillers and mystery. So that's like the main majority of what I want to read this fall. And I'm really looking forward to all of these books. Like, I'm so excited for all of them. I don't know how I'm gonna pick what I'm gonna start with. The first book I have isn't the most fall. In fact, it's not even fall at all, but that is Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. I did indeed finish Magnolia Park It's a Long Way Home today. I'm speechless. So because I just finished that, I really want to get to the very last one that is out, and that is this. Genuinely, I might start it today. I don't know. The Daisy Hates books aren't my favorite. I like the Magnolia Parks books better, but I know that I'm gonna understand a little bit better what happened in that one by reading this, so I might have to start this one tonight. We'll see. The next book I have is What Happens After Midnight by K.L. Walther. This is the same author of The Summer of Broken Rules. This one, I don't really know what it's about. I know it takes place in a boarding school, and just this cover feels like fall to me. Like the purples and the oranges and the blacks, those are such fall colors in my opinion. I just think of like Halloween. Okay, so this book probably has nothing to do with fall now that I read it, but I still want to read it this fall. It's about a girl who is almost done with boarding school. She has her last 2 weeks, so obviously it takes place in the summer, and she feels like she didn't really have a whole lot of fun in high school, I guess. So she takes part in the end of year prank. Not the most fall. Maybe I'll read it like while it's still August. I'm still excited to read it. I liked K.L. Walther's writing in The Summer Broken Rules, so I'm hoping it's similar. Okay, next, like I said, fall is such a great time to read thrillers. I think I'm gonna do a video where I read only thrillers for a week and see how that goes, but I have 6 thrillers that I want to get to this fall, so I thought I would start by showing you guys those. The first one is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. I've never read a Riley Sager book, but this is the one I want to read most. I have seen so many people talk about it and rave about it, and I feel like it was popular like a year ago or so, but I never got my hands on it until now, and I am literally so excited to read this. This looks so good. I just read the back. So it's about a woman who is an actress, and she goes to escape bad press by retreating to her family's lake house in Vermont, and across the lake is a couple, and the woman mysteriously vanishes. So I feel like this is gonna be really good. I'm so excited to read this. The next book I have is Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and this one seems kind of interesting. So it takes place in late October, which I think is when I'll read it. I like to read books when they take place. I just think it adds to the ambiance. But it's about a mom, and her son is late for his curfew, and she looks out the window and she watches him kill someone. And then every day she wakes up is a day before the murder has taken place, so she like has time to stop it, I guess, by going back in time. I don't know, this seems interesting. I'm excited to read it and see what happens. It seems like stuff is like uncovered as she goes further into the past. The next book I have is another Riley Sager book, and that is Lock Every Door. This book takes place in Manhattan, and it's about an apartment sitter, and she is staying in this apartment and she's had so much misfortune in her past, and then another apartment sitter in the same building goes missing. seems kind of creepy. I don't know. I'm excited to read this, but I hope it's not too scary because I do not do good with things that are too scary. Then I have a Frida McFadden book. This is The Inmate, and it's about a nurse at a men's maximum security prison. And one of the inmates was actually her high school sweetheart, and her testimony for his murders is what put him in prison. So I feel like this one is going to be so good and creepy. Frida McFadden's books are so good, and I shouldn't say books because I've only read one, but I loved The Housemaid, and that brings us to our second book, which is The Housemaid's Secret. This is the second one after The Housemaid. I don't know if it's like a series or what. Well, obviously it's a series, but you know what I mean. I just feel like in the first book there wasn't, like the way it ended, there wasn't a need for another one. So I feel like this will be interesting to see what it's about. I want to go into this one blind, so I'm not going to read the back, but I'm pretty sure it's about the same woman in the first book. Like the same housemaid, whatever. You know what I mean. And then I have an Alice Feeney book. I mentioned in my last video, I read Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney, and I didn't like it. There was so much hype around it and I didn't understand it. Like it really fell flat for me and it was kind of a miss. So I'm excited to try out another book by her. This is a psychological thriller about a woman who wakes up in the hospital. She can't move, speak, or open her eyes, but she can hear, and things are slowly starting to come back to her, and she's realizing that maybe her husband had something to do with putting her in the hospital, as well as her sister. And this sounds really good. I'm so excited to read this one. Next, I have some mysteries that I want to read this fall. The first one is Killjoy by Holly Jackson. This is a prequel to Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's about how Pip kind of came to be interested in murder mysteries, and it is super short. It's just a little novella. So I just thought this would be like a quick, easy read for the fall, and I've been wanting to read it because I read all the other books in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, so I just want to finish it off. Then I have The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is one of the series that I was talking about. So it's a 4-book series, and I know, at least I hope, I'm gonna like the first, so I'll probably get the other books in the series. I have the first and the third, which was a total accident on my part. So if I like the first one, obviously I'm gonna get the second. But I've heard this compared to Criminal Minds, kind of, but it's like teenagers, and these teenagers have like special gifts, so they are helping the FBI piece together murders. Something about this just sounds so good to me. I love a good YA murder mystery series. They are just so fun, which maybe is a weird way to describe it, but I also love Criminal Minds, so I just feel like this is going to be the perfect series. Okay, since we just talked about that one, I totally forgot that I wanted to read this fall, but that's The Hawthorne Legacy, also by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And then after The Hawthorne Legacy, obviously I want to read The Final Gambit. I have both of them, and I read the first one, and I have been meaning to pick up the second and third, so I definitely want to get to this fall. I have a very ambitious TBR, I am realizing. The next YA series I want to read is One of Us is Lying. This is about 5 friends who go to detention in high school, and one of them ends up dead. This is also a 3-book series, I'm pretty sure. I know there's 3 books. I don't know if there's more than that, but I feel like this would be another like just fun YA series. Like I said, I don't love anything that's too horror-ish, so something like this is perfect for me. And then more erring on the side of fun. Erring, does that make sense? I don't know. But I have Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murders, and this is by Jessie Q Sutanto, which is the same author as Dial A for Aunties, which is just such a fun series, and it's just so silly. So I'm really excited for this one. It's about a woman who owns a tea shop in San Francisco, and she lives above it, and then one morning she comes down and there's a dead man in her tea shop holding a flash drive. So I think she tries to like figure out what happened, but it just sounds so like silly and cute and fun because it's like somebody's grandma. So I thought this would be another good book. Then I have a few fantasy books that I want to read. The very first one being Twin Crowns. This is, I don't really know. I know it's a YA fantasy novel and it's super easy to read. Like it's a younger reading level, which I think would be nice as like a palate cleanser just to get through something real quick. Honestly, it's kind of long though. It's like 460 pages. I don't know. I'm really excited to read this. I've seen a lot of hype about it recently. And then next, this is another book that was popular, I feel like last year. I've had this book for so long, since I started my channel. So like March maybe. I did a book video where I went and I bought this book. It was one of the first videos I've ever posted, but that is Legends and Lattes, and there's actually a second one coming out soon, so I'm really excited. But this is like a cozy fantasy, so it's high fantasy, low stakes is what I'm pretty sure it is. But it's just kind of them owning a coffee shop, and that sounds so like slow paced and relaxing and fun and easy to comprehend, which honestly fantasy can be a lot of brain power sometimes, so this sounds like a nice little change of pace. The next book I have is Leigh Howard and the Ghost of Simmons Pierce Manor. So random. I explained why I got this book in my last video, so I'm not gonna say it again because I feel like people get bored of hearing me say the same things. But this book is about a girl named Leigh, and she is orphaned. Her parents die, so she goes to live with her wealthy relatives, and the police tell her that the investigation's kind of hit a brick wall, so she takes it into her own hands to figure out what happens, and she meets a ghost. So I just thought this would be a fun book and literally perfect for the month of October, so I'm excited to read this. It's really like tall though. Like compared to a normal book, it's so tall. This, by the way, are all the books on my physical TBR that I want to read in the fall. There are even more books that I have on my radar that I want to read, so this doesn't even begin to touch the surface. So the next fantasy book I have, I am so excited to read, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This book looks so freaking good. There's so much hype around this book. I really hope it lives up to its hype, but it's about a girl who goes to dragon training school, I'm pretty sure, where she learns to ride a dragon. Question mark. This sounds so good. I read Harry Potter for the very first time last fall and completely fell in love with it, and this gives me like Harry Potter vibes in a really good way, and I am so excited. Allie read this book recently and she compared it to The Goblet of Fire. Love that book. So I'm really excited to read this, and I'm so looking forward to it, and I think the sequel comes out very soon, so I'm excited to pick that one up too if I like this one. Okay, and then the last book I have that I wanted to show you guys is sci-fi, I guess, and that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is also a trilogy, so it's nice that, again, if I like this book, I can continue the series. And I also don't know what this book is about. I just know that Haley Pham really likes it, and it's sci-fi, which isn't something I normally read, so I thought I could branch out a little bit. I know she has described it as like the Hunger Games but in the sky, which sounds really cool, and people on the back of the book also compare it to the Hunger Games, so I feel like this will be such a good book, and I'm really looking forward to it. So those are all the books that are on my fall physical TBR. There are so many other books that I am wanting to read for fall. I talked about in that video how I really want to read Divine Rivals, and that is also on my fall TBR. Like, I want to read it in the fall, I just don't own it. So that book is also on my radar, as well as another Stephen King book. I really want to read The Institute, so that's kind of also on my radar. And there are other books that I've been adding to my Amazon wish list that are kind of fall-ish, so I thought I would show you guys those real quick. So if you're interested in getting them, go for it, and then you can tell me how they are. Or if you've read them, let me know if I should get them. But I keep getting these TikToks that are like fall book recommendations, and as soon as I see them, I'm like, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. So one of the books on there is called In the Company of Witches. I really like the cover. I just love that there's a kitty on it because I love cats. Another one I have is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. It's another cover that I just absolutely loved, and this is the same author as Divine Rivals, so I thought that would be another good book to read this fall. I don't know if it's necessarily fall, but the cover feels fall to me. I don't know. I'm also interested in reading this book. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that because I don't want to say it wrong, but that's another trilogy. And then I also want to read The Ballad of Never After, which is the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, which I absolutely love the first one. I want to read In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune, which is coming out in paperback soon, and I really want to get the paperback one. I also want to read Grace Year by Kim Liggett. I don't know if that's how you say her last name, but I've seen people reading that recently and it looks interesting, so I want to try that one out. And then of course there's other Alice Feeney books I want to read, like Daisy Darker, His and Hers, as well as more Frida McFadden books. I have Never Lie and Ward D on my current wish list because they just looked good. Oh, also One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. Oh, and then I have one more book, and it's another K.L. Walther book. Again, I don't know if this is a fall book, but the cover looks very fall. And like I said, I really liked her writing in The Summer Broken Rules. So those are all the books that I have on my physical TBR as well as books that I have on my radar. I think I'm gonna do a fall video where I decorate for fall and do like fall book shopping, so maybe I can get some of those books in that video. So stay tuned for that. But thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Anything that you do helps me out so much and I really appreciate it. So thank you guys for watching and I'll see you so soon in my next one. Bye.